It's very expensive. Not here, not at CPA Enterprises. And that's why it's an enterprise. And that's where I started. And all of it began when those guys fired me. And this is me. This is your show. What do you have? Are we just talking here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of officially get it started. I'm not. We're here today with Justin McAuliffe, CPA, on like the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It's at CPAJMac.
Yep.
Where else? You have the same handle everywhere?
LinkedIn and Facebook would be JMac CPA, and then www.cpa.enterprises. And that's it. I mean, you should be able to get it all right there.
That's fantastic. So how did you come up with the idea to call it CPA.enterprises?
Actually, that's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked that, Russ, because it's a good story. So when I first got canned, right, and CPA Enterprises was birthed, I didn't know what it was then, but I had always thought about what I would call my company and get stuff done. GSD, I have it up here, is something that it's a mantra I've always tried to adopt, and it was kind of how I wanted to start my accounting practice. So it was going to be GSD Enterprises PC. So I'm a professional corporation, which means I have a license attached to my corporations. I'm certified public accountant, state of New York, 109092. That's my license number. And because I'm licensed professional operating within my profession, I am a PC, a professional corporation. So the company was going to be GSD Enterprises or GSD CPA Enterprises, something like that. Actually, I think it was going to be GSD Enterprises. I can't remember. I have business cards. Anyway, long story short there, as a professional corporation licensed and you're registering in the state that you're operating in, you have to specifically say that you're an accountant somewhere or another. So I had to have CPA or accounting or something like that in the name. So I think that's where maybe GSD CPA Enterprises came from, or GSD Accounting Enterprises, something along those lines. So it started off as that. It went to the next thing. And then since it had to have the accounting and the CPA, I then later found out that the only initials that can be in my name are my own. They won't let, it could be JSM, it could be JM. It could be anything like that, McAuliffe or Justin, but it can't be initials that didn't relate to me in any way or another. I tried to talk to the state board to see if I can make some, BS excuse that my grandfather was an entrepreneur and taught me everything I knew, and that's his initials, and it would mean a lot. Like, try to, because I really wanted the GSD, and they wouldn't let me do it. So I said, all right, well, I've always envisioned having the McAuliffe. It's McAuliffe. The M will be my brand, and that's going to be my logo. But McAuliffe CPA Enterprises, and I kind of, I have a DBA. I do business as CPA Enterprises because, yes, I'm forming the company. Yes, I'm the founder. I'm going to be, but I don't want to be synonymous with the company. Like the M, I always see as being the logo. But I do see McAuliffe coming off, and maybe my involvement changes obviously down the road. But I want the whole empire to be CPA Enterprises. Finding out I couldn't use the GSD initials, finding out I had to have accounting or CPA or something in there. I really liked the enterprises. I thought that was cool. I always wanted to have the enterprise in there somehow because, it's just a cool word. It doesn't get used a lot, and it's just, whatever. And I'm going to use McAuliffe. So McAuliffe CPA Enterprises PC was birthed, and then it was locked in stone when I was looking for a domain name, and CPA.enterprises was available. CPA,
which is just amazing that you were able to get that.
That was it. And I was like, all right, there's the name, because I did all of that first. I wanted to make sure I had the domain name proper and the corporate name, and I was able to get the bank accounts and the branding, anything I was doing immediately. I wanted to be, okay, this is the name of the company. And then I can always kind of change the brand down the road. The logo itself and the purple and red and my logo didn't happen probably for another at least year after that. But at least CPA Enterprises was there. I had the website. I had a landing page.
So when did you launch all that?
Crap, I don't even know. Probably probably spring that year. So maybe 5, 6, 7 months or so. Yeah, probably around there. Maybe sometime
In
like
which year though?
spring.
How long are
That
we
was
talking?
2018.
Oh, wow.
Because
So
yeah,
you're
so
new.
I'm brand new. September 17 is when I started. This is my third year. That's it. I mean, the first year was a cluster. I mean, the first year was nuts. I mean, I don't know what I was doing. I mean, nobody knows
Hmm.
what they're doing the first year, but I'm also operating in a professional service industry with IRS and federal government and lawyers and all this crazy stuff and money and lots of money and control of money. And I'm on my own now and I'm fully responsible for all of it. So, you take some chances, you go out, you try to meet some people, you're aggressive and you go for it. I mean, at least that's what I did, which is kind of, I guess, counter to what accountants are. Usually we're not as aggressive, but I certainly see the opportunity in the market to be that way. And I just, CPA Enterprises encapsulates all of that. I'm a CPA. I'm building a bookkeeping practice under CPA Enterprises because I want it to be known that if you're going to be a bookkeeper, you should be attached to a CPA that's reviewing that bookkeeping because
Hmm.
where we are today, this needs to be automated and streamlined as much as possible because the data entry can be eliminated, which means bookkeepers in the traditional sense are also eliminated because instead of the older generation of mundane data entry bookkeepers that get paid $65,000 a year in salary, those jobs are no longer needed because you can automate that. What is still needed is people to read that output. That's why bookkeeping shops like my former employer, Outsource Your Books LLC in Garden City, New York, won't really exist for much longer because they are employed, all their employees there are older people, non-accountants. The only accountant on the staff is Ed Becker CPA. That's it. Not a CPA firm. He
Wow.
has older women. I know them
Hmm.
all. I met them all. And uneducated or somebody who's a mother and has kids and doesn't really have an accounting degree and what she does maybe or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But the point is that it's a much more flexible job in a private bookkeeping shop. And he was charging, I think, $100 an hour for bookkeeping. And I charge $75 an hour. And I also do the analysis and the variances and the details and maintaining the general ledger and chart of accounts, et cetera, et cetera. So since I'm building my CPA enterprises where I can also provide tax knowledge and tax value, I can also provide pristine, button up, perfect general ledgers that are readable and they're organized and they're timely and they're accurate. And then you can use those to talk about everyone's favorite acronym, KPIs, key performance indicators. You hear it dropped all the time. Well, guess what?
Hmm.
That don't work for snot if the numbers aren't correct. And the numbers aren't correct if you don't have a bookkeeper that knows what they're doing. So you're either going to go to Outsource Your Books LLC and get ripped off, right? And
Yeah.
not even have value provided to your business. I don't care how long you've been with them, you're overpaying. Because then you also have to have an accounting team read it, because I've been there and I work there. They don't know what the hell they're doing in terms of reading it. So then you need somebody to read it, which means maybe you have somebody on staff to read it. And then you need a tax preparer. It's very expensive. Not here, not at CPA Enterprises. And that's why it's an enterprise. And that's where I started. And all of it began when those guys fired me. And this is me. Like, all right,
So
let's
did
go.
you always know you were going to end up going off on your own, or did you think you were a lifer at the other company?
I always felt it,
Okay.
but I was too scared. Like, I had always been told throughout my early career that I have the ability to do this on my own. And people would always ask me, why aren't you doing this on your own? Why? From my early days at Anshin to Berman Sossman to Cohn Resnick, people would ask me, why am I not doing this on my own? And the honest answer is, it's because I was scared. I was insecure. I didn't think I could do it. And I always felt like I could. And I tried once. I actually did try. I formed a PC. You can look it up, Justin S. McAuliffe, CPA PC, I believe. I tried it on the side. I tried to do some returns. I tried to do some accounting on the side because it was lower, smaller stuff. And my employer didn't want it. But it just didn't work out. It just wasn't, it's not that it wasn't profitable. It just, I couldn't focus on both, right? I mean, I was trying to get my exam pay. Oh, no, that was already after my exam because I was a PC. Like, I was trying to develop my career. I thought you had asked me too. Like, I thought I always wanted to be partner at all these places. Like, I had gotten laid off from Anshin and it was devastating. But even there, I mean, the 5 years, like, I was like, oh man, maybe one day I'll have that. corner office, and maybe one day I can be the partner, and maybe one day I can, go out and be the relationship guy. And anytime you're at a place, I think it's hard to see anything past where you are in terms of upward growth, because again, that's where you are, right? And if you're not going to think outside the box, you're going to stay in that box. And look, I knew I wasn't going to get promoted. I knew I wasn't long-term there, but if they didn't throw me out, I probably never would have left. So they did me a favor. Landed at this other spot. And again, to answer your question, I certainly thought I was going to be partner there. Lo and behold, I mean, I just posted about this. I mean, they were pretty abusive, specifically Sossman, the middle in the Berman Sossman Rosenzweig. He was pretty abusive and certainly not somebody I wanted to have in my partner. But I took it as a learning opportunity, and I started asking for more money, asking for things in writing. Like, you want me to be the young guy? I mean, they had brought me on board because they had have somebody young in their partner, in their practice, because none of their kids do it. So you need somebody to succession plan. I was their succession plan. That's what they told me. I was it. Obviously it didn't work out, but again, I mean, you're going to say that to somebody, you're going to say that, and then they're going to call you on it, and they were bluffing. So I called them on it, and that's when a Cohen Resnick opportunity came up, and I thought for sure I was going to be a partner there. That was the goal, even as technically behind as I was, especially the first year. Because at Berman Sossman, like at Anshin, I was an auditor. At Berman Sossman, I learned how to do all the accounting, all the bookkeeping, payroll tax, sales tax, partnership returns, personal return. I mean, I learned all of that stuff because I didn't have that experience at Anshin. So then I went from Berman Sossman to Cohen Resnick. Like, I really learned how to do a tax return and all that stuff. I mean, the first year I was in way over my freaking head. I don't know what they were thinking bringing me in. Obviously, I'm extremely grateful because of the opportunity, and I was able to overcome it in a way. But for me, it was, like I said, I really learned how to do a tax return. It was not even humbling. It was stressful. I mean, it was bad place mentally kind of stuff, re-questioning your life and everything. And they weren't that supportive of me. I mean, they kind of put me on a short leash. And I remember the first few tax returns I had reviewed. I mean, my staff knew more than I did. I mean, there was very basic knowledge I had. And yes, some of it applied there. Not all of it. And it was bad. But first year goes by, kind of hit a little stride. All of a sudden, I'm getting some respect from the staff because they did not respect me at all in the beginning. It's not like I had support from my wife says it to me all the time, how little the bosses there, Stephanie, Steve, David, you guys know exactly who you are, how little they supported me and how blind I was to it. Like, I was like, no, they really are. Like, they really do. And they didn't. They don't give a crap about me. I was just a succession plan for them too. I remember right after I quit Cohen Resnick, I saw David at a restaurant, networking through OSYB. So this was shortly after I left, thinking we're buddies, right? I mean, that's what we said, right? We're a family. Mike Monahan's up on stage. The difference between office is we're a family. We're a family. Okay, right. So you're gonna lie and hide things from your family, and you're not going to be honest with me as a manager or whatever it might be. Like, I was the only one bringing in business at my level of my age, and I was making it rain. I had like $100,000 book of business, but they wouldn't promote me because I wasn't technical enough, which is just BS. Because most accountants here throughout their career, the quickest way to partnership is to make it rain. Well, I'm right here, and I'm telling you proof of that. That is BS. At least it is at Cohen Resnick. And I remember I saw David at the restaurant. I texted him a picture of himself, and I'll never forget it. And it was right there in that moment. I'm like, you know what? I not only did I make the right move, I'm on my own. Like, I don't have these guys as mentors. They're not my friends. They're not my mentors. And he looked at the text, so it was me, put it right back in his pocket. And I'm there. Like, and I see the whole thing happen. I'm like, you jerk. And I was like, wow, what a jerk. And I'm thinking I hadn't talked to him in a while. And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to see me. He's going to get excited to see from me. And like, and he wasn't going to respond because when I saw him, I called him out on it, and his face like dropped, and then he faked it. And I don't know who he was with, but he introduced me, and it was totally awkward. And that was it. That was probably the last time I spoke or talked to him. Again, great family members, right? And then I remember shortly after everything had happened with with OSYB and they fired me, Steve reaches out to me and says, "Oh yeah, I heard it was a tough year for you." I was like, Thanks. Like, yeah, it was a
Thanks,
tough year.
Dick.
Where the hell were you, right? Like, you didn't reach out. I mean, you heard, but then you didn't reach out and say hi. Like, the reason why I quit, it's funny because Steve, David, and myself had a meeting. It was right before I quit. I had already had the offer of OSYB on the table, which, yes, was a mistake, but leaving was not.
Mm-hmm.
And without OSYB, I never would have got my street PhD in business and accounting. So again, grateful for all the opportunities, but now I feel like now I have this, ability to educate. I mean, I took a beating, but I'm strong. I mean, I got thick skin, man, and I can take a beating. Like, I've been taking beatings most of my career, and I can take it. But I know most people can't. That's why I feel like, not that I've experienced all this, right? So where was I going before? I forgot now.
We're just laying out the story, how you got to where you are.
Right, but where was it before? The Cone Resnick and leaving? Oh, the meeting. So the meeting that David, Steve, and I had at Cone Resnick. Now, my daughter Lala had just been born, so that was 2016, and I remember going through that tax season in 2016 and being like, I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm so stressed. Like, all I'm doing constantly is thinking about work and my clients. I never know if there's going to be a bomb. Like, a good day can turn into a crappy day at a freaking snap. The partners don't really give you all-inclusive transparency on their clients. You look at the
Mm-hmm.
billing reports. I'm seeing them writing off plastic surgery group. We had over like $100,000 in time on these 5 partners that own the group, and David was charging $900 per partner for tax return. And some of these tax returns had K1s and brokerage statements that were, I mean, you understand this stuff. I mean, these things are thick, like,
Yeah.
as thick, and these K1s, I mean, these K1s you have to go through very detailed. You have to read the statements. The brokerage things are tough because sometimes you have, non-taxable interest and taxable interest. And I remember me and Jen would go through these things on a regular basis and just like racking her head. I mean, even when I got more respect from the employees down the road, I mean, we would all look at this stuff together and be like, why the freak are we doing this? Like, we're not even getting paid for it. We're literally writing off 50, 60, 70% of the time because all they want is the revenue, and what do they care? They ain't paying us a lot of money, so it's just our time that they wrote off. And then it all kind of hit me after that. I'm like, so I'm basically working for free. I'm sacrificing time with my son and my wife and my daughter and my friends and colleagues that I do care about, for a brand that's not only my own, but they don't give a crap about me. They don't care. I mean, bonuses were $100 gift cards. It's like they would just blind you and disguise you, and you can put what is it? You can put a lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig, right? I mean, that's really all they're doing is putting lipstick on a pig, and it does work for the younger people because they see all that. It's like glitz and glory and glam, and they tell you, like, work harder, we'll promote you. Work harder, we'll promote you. And no, that's not what happens. And here I am in this meeting. I went into that summer and I decided, since they're not going to up the fees and nobody's listening to my ideas and nobody is taking this, I guess, like, advancement where I thought we could go as seriously as I was, because I saw opportunities. I mean, I just saw they were there. I mean, you see it. I mean, I'm getting the work product from these bookkeeping companies and it's garbage. It's trash. And you see what they're paying on it and you know how to do it right. And I can't do it right because I'm charging $500 an hour. But I got to make sure it's right because I got to make sure it ties out to the trial balances. And these partners expect pristine product at the end of the day, which leads to my summer that year where I decided that I'm going to review my work and my book and my tax returns to what I felt it was worth of my time, because I wasn't doing it anymore. Like, I'm not staying till 10 o'clock at night to get freaking Gail Silverman's tax return done. And it's only so she can yell at me the next day because she overpaid on tax. Like, I mean, there's only so much you can do, and I'm exhausted, and it's not a lot of money. So I'm like, F it. I'm giving it 2 hours, giving it an hour, giving it 3. Yeah, they didn't like that very much. My work product was suffering, and that's where the meeting came into play, because my work product was suffering, and of course it was suffering. I wasn't putting the time into it anymore, and I'm still writing off time. I'm not putting in the time it deserves. I'm putting in even less, and it's still too much. Like, that's still too much, and it's just not profitable. And they called me in to talk about my work product. and on the line was this opportunity to be involved with something that was called the Innovation Committee under Frank Lombardi. He was the CEO at the time. There was this like cool little contest or some kind of program that he had developed underneath himself and the CEO to try to bring the firm to these next levels of really where I'm at. Pillars of training and billing and efficiencies and business development and all of these things that are important in any kind of firm to develop. And his goal was to collect a group of employees and put them in a room and help drive some innovation with the group. I had already participated in it. I was selected. It was a really big deal. It was pretty awesome. And it was firm recognition throughout the world. I mean, we had a couple of global offices, but national, it was like 27 offices, and everyone knew who I was. I was always on the business development. I was always having some kind of lead or prospect in the system, and I was closing too. Then I'm on this innovation committee and this board of other professionals and people that are really there to do the right things, right? And it's exciting and it's good energy, and it's like, all right, man, like we're gonna be the difference. Like we're gonna be the partners that are underneath Cohen Resnick's umbrella that are really going to make the change, right? They're going to make a young CEO, and we're going to do this. So with all of that, bringing into the room to have my work is suffering meeting, having all of that, I already had the OSYB offer in my back pocket. And they sat me down and talked about the work product and what do I want and all these things, right? And I got to get more technical and all these other things. And then they had said to me that another reason for the meeting was that Frank was impressed with me at the group. And I think Tom Fassett was his name. He had reached out to Steve and David to say that Frank is actually creating a smaller group within that group, special like 6 or 8 people, whatever it might be, to build on those blocks related to not only the group kind of like team special thing that we just had, but to advance that. The unfortunate thing behind it was that it was an 8-week project. This was September-ish, right? Tough time of year to be out for 8 weeks in an accounting profession, and it was demanding.
Yeah.
Right? And it was demanding. It was 8 weeks. I mean, essentially, it would have to be the only thing I could work on. You can imagine their displeasure of offering that to me, especially when I can't believe he even admitted this. And he said it right to my face. And right when he said this to me is like, that was the moment I quit. Because again, I had this thing in my back pocket. And the only reason why I didn't quit on the spot was because, I mean, I don't know, I wanted to think about it. But that Monday I came in. And I remember he said this to me flat out. He's like, brings this opportunity to me. And he says, you know, my first reaction was hell's no. And I'm like sitting back in my seat. I'm like, hell's no, who the F are you to tell me? I mean, you can't, that's not your role. You're not my keeper. If I want to, I mean, if the boss of the freaking company wants me involved with something, that's my choice. And you want to know something? If the work product needs to, then that's your job and responsibility to build that, right? If I'm going to be the future of this firm, you got to allow me to go implement myself into the future of the firm's programs. Like, what do you think? This is just going to pop up out of nowhere? People got to work on this stuff. Like, people got to work on it. And he says to me, no. So I'm like, okay, nice. Then we talk about my career and senior manager and business development, future, and all this crap, right? At the end of the day, super long story short, I mentally quit in that meeting. I waited a couple of days, gave my notice shortly after that. 2 weeks in, bounce, go to the chop shop. That went south quickly, real quickly. I quickly found out that was not what I signed up for. The expectations weren't clear. I mean, I certainly thought they were. I mean, I lined out everything. And I did find out some kind of little birdie that apparently OSYB was being discussed for sale. From what I heard, Rossi and Company, which is a company here on Long Island, was looking to purchase them. I don't have any proof about this. I just have a really expansive network and know how to ask the right questions and push the right button. And it's not like I got this tips and advice from like really solid sources. People that I still have, I guess the point is people I still have relationships today with, like 2 years later. I found out that they were looking to sell. And my guess is that a young good-looking hustler from a mid-sized firm could generate a significant amount of top-line revenue for us, especially coming from a mid-sized firm where they know they have a tremendous amount of relationships with bookkeepers, and a bookkeeping company to input themselves into a firm like Resnick could be, who knows? Especially if you build those relationships, you could get every piece of action from the firm for eternity. Adding $200,000-$300,000 to the top line over 18 months is certainly attainable. And again, that's my guess. I don't know for certainty. If they watch this, they can, either confirm or deny or correct me or do nothing, which I'm sure you will, but that's what I heard. Obviously it didn't work out. They're still around. But then that was it. And like I said, my first year was super hard, a lot of crazy stuff. And here I am, man, purple and red and JX4 and hanging out with you and, doing 18 minutes of straight gabbing. You certainly heard me out of breath for a little bit, but there's people that are loving this stuff, Russ. The things that, you're doing, I'm doing, other people they're doing. We're all talking behind the scenes and me particularly is onto something. I'm going to keep pushing, especially when I have these other accountants that are in similar situations that I was. Like my experience at Berman Sassman is very similar to what they are all experiencing currently. And it's just the abuse and the mental and the control and the BS with the the writing off of time and they're liars. Like they're just liars. And all they care about is themselves. And all they wanted me to do at Cohn Resnick was inherit Steve and David's book of business. Wow. Like really profitable. Like I'm so excited to freaking work on 481A elections for the rest of my life. Like, there's a reason why I'm not mastering it. It's because it's boring and I'm not interested in it. Develop what people are interested in. Why is Lamar Jackson having so much success in the NFL right now? They're finding his strengths and they're not only enhancing it, they're allowing him to just do what he does best, right? Making the plays for him, and he's crushing it. He's killing it in the NFL, and there's no reason why professionals shouldn't do the same with their staff, but unfortunately, it's never going to happen. These companies are now filled with, they're all, it's very well documented. You can see it even with your own two eyes that these firms are recruiting like crazy, like offering the sun, moon, stars, planets, everything else that comes with it. And it works for like 2 years. And then you can go on something like, they can go follow on Instagram, the Big Four accountant. You can go on Fishbowl and these other chat sites about how they, it's these aren't my words. Like that's the thing that people, I'm telling you my story.
Yeah, you're not the only one this is happening to.
Right. I'm just right.
Everybody's going through this.
100%. Right. And I'm just sharing my part and then applying it to what's really happening in the world and confirming that, JMac knows what's up. Period. End of story. Not only do I know what's up, I know how to produce the best quality product that I still have. And I'm not just tooting my own horn. Go talk to my clients. Like I have a sales funnel coming out pretty soon with some testimonials that, those are things that people dream of getting over, maybe a couple of times over their career. And I got a handful of them in a year. And yes, I turn people off. Good. I can disqualify you immediately. Like you're going to look me up and you're like, I don't want to work with that guy. All right, great. I don't want to work with you. And that's what's so awesome is that you can go work with then Jose or whoever the hell else or JJ or none of them. I don't really care. I don't want to have to waste my time selling myself to you. And now I have so much content out there. I am all over the internet. I am all over social media. It's almost impossible probably to not find me at this point. And you can decide for yourself. It's pretty great. It's such a refreshing feeling. Yes, I'm aggressive on sales, but I don't got to go to networking groups. I can network at my own time. I don't even set my alarm clock. It's like the best part about being an entrepreneur. Everyone's talking about getting up early and forget that. Why do you want to get up early? You're a freaking small business owner. You work for yourself. Just start your meetings after 10 like I do. I don't want to get up early. Forget that. And I got kids. So I digress.
So here we are right now, October 2019. So how long have you been a CPA? Because you've been at a lot more places than I thought.
Yeah, I tend to I tend to hear that a lot. I mean, even you've known me as long as you've known me. I have a lot to, I'm pretty I'm a complex guy. I got a lot going on, and then whatever. 2000. I always forget. It was 2012. So I've been a CPA for
So you're 7 years.
7 years, right? I mean, more, no, 8 years probably.
Okay.
11. No, because that's January, right? So 11 is when I passed the exam, and that's technically, my license didn't come till January, but yeah, I mean, almost 8 years. And then that's 14 years in Korea, 5, 6. Yeah, so I had about 6, 7 years in practice unlicensed, and then I've been licensed since. It was 5 years in audit, and then 7 years in tax, small firm, big public company, public accounting firm,
Sure.
small little chop shop bookkeeping place, and here we are building enterprises from my office, which used to be my children's nursery.
That's awesome. And I think it's amazing that you can work out of the house and be able to focus on that and everything. Because of course, if I'm at home, I can't concentrate that way. That's why we had to actually get this little office a few minutes from the house, because there's just too many distractions for me around there, and noise and all kinds of other stuff. And so I think it's fantastic that you're able to make that work.
The reason why I'm able to make it work is because I'm always working. I mean, I'm getting up in the morning, and even if I can bang out 30 minutes before my kids leave, I mean, I get it done. And tonight's Monday Night Football. The Jets are on. I don't even know who they're playing. Patriots, maybe? I think Patriots. It's a great game. I want to be up all night watching that game. But I'm not going to be watching that game. I'm going to be working or doing whatever is on my plate. I mean, I put in a traditional 8-day or eight and a half hours in the office here. I mean, my kids aren't here. I mean, my dog's here. He's annoying, but I blast my music. It's no different than having my office. I mean, there are distractions, but they're good distractions for me, because the way I operate, and I'm sure this isn't a surprise, I'm all over the place, but it's organized. I mean, it's chaos a little bit because I work on so many things at the same time, but I know that about myself, and I was able to tap into that as a strength and figure out how that worked to my benefit. And I got my own little system, and those distractions are positive for me. I mean, going outside, maybe raking my leaves, or going out, cleaning up poop, or taking a bike ride, or maybe turning on an Uber and Lyft for, an hour and a half. Those are all good distractions for me, because I'm literally only taking hours off at a time, because it's 7 days a week. I mean, the only reason why I didn't work over the weekend is I didn't really have anything on my plate. So what else do? You follow up billing and prospects and do more marketing and content. There's always time for Instagram, right? So.
Oh yeah. And whatever you do, and we just turn on the camera and create that content, that's fantastic. And it's really helped me start to put things together. I mean, when we had our first video chat that we did a few months back, and you told me I had to get on Instagram, I had a single post, which I still can't figure out. I don't know how I got it uploaded, because I don't do as much on my phone, because I'm always sitting at my desk. And so I had no idea how Instagram even worked.
Right. Which you have to use on your phone. I mean, if you don't use your phone, you can't use Instagram.
Yeah. So I'm getting there, and you've got me on TikTok and doing other things. And
well, hold on a second. I didn't do any of that. Right? Let's just pause for you.
Oh,
did.
You told me.
I did. Right. Oh, I didn't tell you. I made a suggestion. Right. I just don't listen. I mean, do your own. I mean, you heard the ideas, right? Like, I didn't say Russell McDonald. You like, and I know that's on video and we have content on that. But the point is that all I'm doing is saying what works for me, and say you should try this. You should try this. Right. You make yourself do it.
Yeah.
Right? You and Russell is the best. I mean, this is an awesome piece of hot take content. If anybody wants to see how to do it in the way that literally almost everyone can do it, is just turn on the camera. Go look at Russ's TikTok, specifically his TikTok. Don't even worry about his Instagram. Go look at his TikTok, because the man has went all in on it. Do you know what you're doing? No. I mean, I certainly don't know what I'm doing, but like what you do on TikTok is kind of like what I do on my Instagram stories. Now, you don't do it as often as I do, but in that sense, look at Russ. I mean, what more do you need to see? Like, how difficult is that? And If it sucks or it doesn't, he gets views or not, guess what he's still doing? Doing another one, and then
Yep.
doing another one, and then doing another one. And when I did all the social media stuff, I gave myself, I'm like, I have to do this for a year, going all in pretty much last year, October, and it's been a full year. So it takes a long time, and you got to learn the softwares. So, I mean,
Exactly.
you know, TikTok, that thing is.
And there's more and more happening there. And yeah, I need to do something every day. And it's funny because someone asked me over the weekend, I got from it wasn't a CPA, it was a rep at one of the lenders that I don't even work with, but she wrote me and asked, how many views are your videos getting over on LinkedIn? And it's like 500 to 1,000 views per video on just little, it could be a 30-second clip of you and I talking or some thought that I have on something. And the organic reach on LinkedIn is just amazing right now. So I'm actually going to start pushing even more out that way. And the stuff that I get, what I need to do is when I have something that turns out right on Instagram or on TikTok, I need to save that and send that off to Facebook and LinkedIn as well, because they're enjoying that. I mean, some of the stuff that's gotten the most interaction and views on LinkedIn have been funny accounting videos that I copied from somebody else.
Right. Well, that just goes to show you why meme accounts have freaking millions and millions of followers. I mean, really, all you're doing is, right, you're modernizing the meme account in a way, or using it. I don't really know. It's so funny.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And what you just said made me think of something else too, because I know Gary has certainly spoken about this. We go on a first name basis now, Gary and I.
Of course.
So just dump everything you have and just dump it on TikTok. And that's, I mean, I want to do that, but it's just time consuming and mundane, right? I mean, that's like work I could easily do, but I fill my time with other things. And that's like work I dread. I'd rather just hire somebody to do that. But I want one day to take all those stories, Russ, and just, I mean, look what Gary Vee does. I mean, he's not, I mean, how often does he go on his TikTok? I mean, I'm sure throughout the day he's responding to stuff, right? But he ain't posting that crap. I mean, people are going out, archiving his stuff. He has tons of people. I'm sure they're posting it for him. I mean, I'm paying people to post on Instagram. I mean, there's no way he's not. And he's Gary, of course.
Of course.
I mean, not only am I going to do that with all my stories, which you know as good as anybody how much I have. I mean, it's insane. Like, I still can't believe it that I have that much. And I'm like who else has that much content? Like, Russ, Wad's sitting on like 120 gigs of GoPro content over the last several months that he hasn't even opened yet. Like, I have so much cool crap that I'm sitting on that hasn't even been like dispersed yet. And the only thing stopping us is resources. I mean, he can't keep up with all of that. I'm certainly not paying him enough to keep up with all of that stuff. I mean, pumping that out. I mean, we could do 10 posts a day on every single platform. No problem. I mean, literally no problem. But another thing I'm going to do is take all those stories, and maybe this is a good suggestion for you, because as you know with Instagram, which is why I love Instagram, they archive everything. All of it's there. My very first story on Instagram to the one I did this morning, all sitting there, all can be downloaded, all can be edited on iMovie or some other program, whether you send it over to your marketing team or, you know, do it internally. What I did was on my stories, which, you know, I do IGTVs. I just take 10 minutes of the stories and I'll create them and I'll cut them at 10 minutes and I'll just post Insta stories on IGTV, and they do well. I mean, they get a lot of views. The reason why I haven't done them recently is because the one I'm trying to capture is just not downloading properly. And that was a couple of months ago and I'm so far behind, but all of a sudden you're going to start seeing a lot of IGTV. I can take that, bring it into YouTube. All of a sudden I have an IGTV show, do an intro, right? Have somebody sit here and talk to them about it. See if I remember doing something, have it interactive, do a freaking stream. I don't know. Intro. Here's Insta Stories, the volume 1, Insta Stories, volume 2, JMac, right? I mean, there's so much of it. It's insane. Like, it's just awesome. And it's overwhelming at times, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm a fun guy. A lot going on. Good stuff. I like sharing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, and what it comes down to is it's not taking anything away from you to share all this with everybody. And there is so much business out there for all of us that if we help other people get better at what we're doing, it's better for us too, because that's going to end up pushing out the charlatans and the people that
don't belong here.
That don't belong here.
But they're scamming people out of money. Like, that's the thing. And people want to know why I'm like this. Well, I mean, this podcast and interview is certainly a part of it. But people need a shield, man. Like, there's just a lot of bad people out there just trying to scam you out of money, and it's not okay. And then it's giving you this false sense of security that you think you're going to be set up for life. You're not going to be, because eventually it's going to bend. Eventually it's going to break, because it's not that easy. And Mike Winnet, it has a Netflix series coming out. One of my, I don't want to say mentors, but one of my inspirations behind being like this, and Meet Kevin is another one, exposing the entrepreneurs in their particular spaces, the fakes and the phonies, because these systems work enough to the point where they get adapted to almost every single industry. And we all know it. These freaking kids on LinkedIn gloating about being keynote speakers and experts in this and experts. I mean, all they're doing is stealing from the old people, right? Because they're not dropping any knowledge. They're charismatic and they know how to get on stage and have good stage presence, and that's about it. They're not dropping any value at all, like at all. I mean, and Mike is out there building a whole Netflix series on it. Like, took all of his own money, went and took all these courses, did everything to the book, and you know, he's already kind of spoiled him. He said none of them worked, and he's gonna have all Netflix.
He's just exposing all of them on a Netflix series.
Yeah,
I like that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Kevin, Meet Kevin did the same thing with not only Grant Cardone, but with David Ramsey. David Ramsey was kind of his whole, I think, I mean, I know a little bit about him, but David Ramsey was his, I guess that's how it started. If I remember, this is his shirt, "Don't Sue Me, Bro," which is just awesome for me too, because I talk about law. I mean, we can probably compare, I'm sure, win it as well, the lawsuits that we have against us. But David Ramsey had, I guess Meet Kevin had exposed David Ramsey's program, you know, big real estate program, and then some crap happened, got sued, exposed them, did this YouTube channel, got cease and desist, all this crazy stuff happened, and the amount of Fs that he gave was 0, and he's still here. So that, you know, guys like myself, J-Mac, Mike Winnet, Meet Kevin, others, and again, those are the only 3 that I know, and those are the 2 that are inspiring me right now. Like, don't mess around. I mean, it's 2020. I mean, 2020 is around the corner. And there's fakes and phonies everywhere. And it's hopefully going to be guys like that just offer people the opportunity to make proper decisions financially and career-wise.
Cool.
So.
No, I know what you mean. I was watching some speech that Gary Vee gave just this morning. And he talked about people that watch his stuff and then repackage it and charge $950 for an ebook, and they're just regurgitating his information. He says, and I see them out there. And obviously that's not going to be a long-term strategy for anybody, because it's all going to fall apart.
And that's fine if that's what you want. I mean, that's not what I want. I mean, I have patience, and Gary said this the other day too. Like, I know I'm going to get there. And you're gonna make. I mean, he passed on Uber twice, right? I mean, he feels like he would be able to buy the jets already if he didn't pass on Uber for twice. What are you gonna do?
Incredible?
I mean, the losses are good. I mean, you know, over the weekend there was some discourse with the Facebook group. I don't really want to get into it now, but there were some moments for me to be humbled a little bit, and for me to have a different perspective. And something that I need to work on personally is that I'm from New York, and not the whole world is. And I have a way of me that is very New York that, you know, probably scares some people, and I don't mean to be, and maybe sounds a lot harsher than it is, but we call each other names all the time. And I'm not saying that's not good, or I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I can see how it can be perceived as a form of bullying. Like, I get it. I mean, that's a pretty sensitive topic these days, and Yankee fans are great proof. You want to go see what this freaking, I mean, go look over the weekend. Whatever you watch this, I mean, they just lost this 2019. Houston just won the ALCS, and go watch the way these fans treat the Houston Astro fans at the stadium, loaded, right? These guys are drunk as F. And I got to a fight at Yankee Stadium 2009, 2010. Yeah, 2009. Got my ass kicked. I got knocked out cold. I swear, Russ. I swear. I'm not. This is 100% true story, without a doubt. It was Roger Clemens versus Oliver Perez, and it was a battle. They both pitched beautifully, and I'm pretty sure it was Jose Reyes that had the winning run. I think it was like 2-1, and Ollie probably pitched his best game as a Met. And it was at Yankee Stadium. I don't remember what time of year it was, but it was just good energy. It was tense, and it was a great game. And it was really, packed, probably 50-50. And obviously we're all loaded. My girlfriend at the time was there, wife and a bunch of other friends. One of my wife's best friends who was there, who we still talk to, so she can totally vouch the story. The other guys I don't talk to anymore. And I do right. And we're going down. I don't know if you ever been to Yankee Stadium, but anyone who's been to the old Yankee Stadium and even the old Shea Stadium, there would be ramps. I mean, Fenway Park still has them. So if you look, you have like these ramps that go down and down and down, and like you're just walking down them, like as you go around, like and you're walking down out of the stadium, and we're all going. When Jose Reyes was on the team and playing awesome, everyone, Jose, and that was his song. And anytime he kicks some butt, we would do that. Now all the Met fans are going down this ramp and just chanting Jose, and we're just going over and over and over again, just being total jerks, pissing a hole of the Yankee fans. Guys in front of us were not happy at all. He kept turning back and saying stuff, but they were in front of us, so they were in front of us. Kept turning back. My wife was drawn too. I mean, girlfriend at the time, but she was drawn too, and I was certainly drawn. And then this jerk goes to grab my wife, and he goes to grab her, my girlfriend, Cheryl. She goes to grab her, and I don't know what he was going to do with her. I didn't give him much time, but he went to grab her, and then I just went after him. I missed. I didn't swing and hit him at all, Russ. I mean, I just went after him. Next thing you know, there's a big brawl. And then all of a sudden I wake up on the floor with a pool of blood just pouring out of my face. Like I got clocked from behind. Somebody came behind me and just freaking clocked me here and knocked me out cold. I was hit the floor and then boom, ate the concrete, literally ate the concrete, broke my nose, all this crazy stuff. So Met fans aren't much better, but the point is that, I guess brawls happen everywhere, but yeah, I haven't told that story in a while. That's a good one. And I have pictures.
That's a fascinating story.
Broke my nose. I mean, I got a busted face. I mean, I certainly had some of it coming. I certainly had most of it coming, but the truth be told, whether or not I got knocked out cold and chipped some teeth, I chipped some teeth and I was messed up for a little while. My face, it was killing me. You don't touch a girl, it was just, I don't know what the hell that guy was thinking.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking. But that was a bad move. But anyway, what are you gonna do? Nose is fine. Actually, when I have two little brothers, so we would always fight a lot. And Cheryl had always mentioned that my nose was a little crooked, and I guess it was just because we would be punching each other in the face on a regular basis, right? I mean, eventually that happens. But when I broke my nose, it made it nice and straight now. So it's worked out.
So it's all for the best, right? And you got a better baseball story than just about anybody.
I got a lot of good stories, man. I'd always said this too. Like I felt like I should always be the Truman Show, and I don't know. I think it just has to do with me putting myself out there and not being afraid and just trying to do whatever. I mean, I don't know, just be myself. I went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when the Giants won. Actually, there's really not any great. Actually, no, there's a cool story because we got hooked up. My boy, Paulie, hooked us up with the tickets, and we paid face value when the Giants beat the Patriots last. And we had face value tickets. We were in the end zone, awesome seats, but we had gotten them from somebody in the organization, somebody that was in marketing that had a really high position. Not only did we get face value tickets, but we were also able to get bracelets for the pre-party, which happened the day before, which was it was all free beer and everything. It was awesome. Cool. And then we got invited to the after party. Win or lose, they were having an after party. They won. It was a wedding. It was set up like a wedding. We had a wristband. There's people like offering us crazy money for these wristbands. Like, I mean, I could have
I
sold
can imagine, yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, there's no way I'm missing this. And we went in and we like all the way to the top, went right into the wedding. Boom, there's Jason Pierre-Paul, there's Nario Manningham, there's David Tyree, and it's a party. I mean, all these guys' families are there, and they just won the freaking Super Bowl, and we're hanging out there having drinks and cocktails and famous people, and the Maras are all there, and these guys just won the Super Bowl. And we're out there having beers with them and stuff. It was awesome. Freaking awesome. It sucked, though, because we were so freaking tired. Like, we didn't even stay that long. Because we had to get in the hotel like an hour and a half away or something, like 45 minutes away, something crazy. And we had gotten there so early, and we were like shot, like it was mad late. And we're like, wow, this really sucks. Like none of us are into it as much as we should have been. And like I used to, like, even like Paul, like we all looked like, oh my god, like how are we not, like we didn't even get a third win. We were just like, oh fuck, we gotta go. Like this is just, we got to drive home, and we were shot, so we didn't hang out too late. But still, it was pretty sweet. I mean, not many people get to go to a Super Bowl, let alone experience stuff like that. But I could have said no, and if I remember, I mean, it was expensive. I mean, $900 when I was then. I mean, that was a lot of money. I wasn't making as much money, and I didn't have it. And I was like, F it. Putting it on the credit card. I mean, who gives a crap? I mean, how often is this opportunity going to come up? And I just always try to say yes to as many opportunities that come up as possible, because why not? I mean, and working for the man makes that very difficult. And I've missed quite a bit of opportunities over my life because of that. And I went to Vegas for a freaking day, Russ. Like, like I jumped on a plane and booked it 2 weeks prior and just said, F it. How often am I going to get an opportunity to go hang out in a private, well, not really. I mean, it wasn't private, but we were on the private list, and Vegas Dave and Paul. I mean, how often is that going to happen? And hanging out with Juan in Vegas, and you're just recording a ton. I mean,
I saw some of those videos. That was fantastic.
Russ, there's so much. Like, we did so much more that day. Now, I don't know if all of it's usable, but I'm sure every scene has something usable. I mean, we have a whole little dialogue on the strip, like up above, like some rooftop that we weren't allowed to go on, but we just did it. And then we got kicked out. But we were hanging out for a while, and then we got kicked out. But I remember as we got kicked out, I was still rolling the GoPro, and I had my backpack on me, and it was like the seatbelt dividers, you know what I'm talking about, and you clip them in, like kind of like seatbelt material. So like an idiot, I forgot that my backpack was on me, and then I went I leaned down and tried to go out, and my backpack got caught on the seatbelt and took the whole freaking thing down. That was kind of, that was a little awkward as we were getting kicked out.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's all we have, all that on video. I mean, there's just so much crap. It's awesome. I mean, even who knows when this is going to come out. And I record all my meetings now. All my Zoom meetings I record.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. And I'm going to try to do more of my meetings over Zoom instead of in person, because it's really useful. If I'm giving a client really detailed information on what they have to do, like if they've got a credit problem they have to fix, that might be a 10-step process to make it happen. And they have to do everything in order, or it's not going to work. And so what I started doing is I had started making like private YouTube videos for them, like a 10-15-minute video. But it's even better, get them on the screen, walk them through it. Okay, what do I do here? What do I do here? And it's just so useful. And then I can just send it to them. I gotta be right in what I say, but as long as I know what I'm talking about, we're cool.
Well, that's the thing. You do know what you're talking about. And not only is it on there for a piece of reminder. All right, thanks, Alexa. I don't know what that was. Not only, it's a good reminder. You can send that to the client. Oh, well, you said this and you said this. Let's go back to the tape. All right, there it is. And like you said, you can have that then for your clients to have as a follow-up instruction. Then the best part.
So should I start doing that with my wife?
Just make sure you turn it off during the intimate times, if you know what I'm saying. Because you don't want to get that on video, Russ. So, or maybe.
Yeah, no kidding.
So but like you then have that as a piece of content, and not for your clients, right? Like but for yourself, spitballing and regurgitating, and there's just a little bit more comfortability because all you're doing is your thing, and you're kind of forgetting it's recording and podcast and videos on TikTok and stuff. But then you have it for content for yourself, follow up for clients, training for your new staff and employees. Hey, watch this video, and then supporting your YouTube channel. If you need a reminder and a refresher, watch this first, or even a prerequisite, right? Watch this first before you set up a meeting with me, because I want you to have a foundation and a building block. Because how many times do we spend explaining crap on the phone time after time after time after again? Now you can just kind of, even on your website, maybe something like, when you set up a meeting, like automatically brings you to a new landing page, and then you have to watch this video before you can, submit the next button or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. It's actually a pretty cool idea.
That is a good idea.
That's a cool idea, right? Like, you set up the meeting, you go to your Calendly, schedule the meeting, right? Or pick the date, it goes to the next landing page, watch the video, submit, meeting booked. Because they can't book the meeting without watching the video. Has to. That'd be cool. Who does that?
I could do that.
That'd be cool. Because then, I don't think that's demand. Look, this is my time. You want to work with me? Here, boom. If you're not gonna spend the 10 minutes to watch my freaking video, then I don't want to work with you. I'm not interested.
Fascinating.
Your brain is going.
No, I'm just thinking, I don't think it was you. I think it was Jose who said one time that if he's got a client who won't use Zero, he's just not even going to work with him.
Correct. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Because, for whatever reason, that's the way he wants to do things.
But then for me, I would just convert them over. And honestly, half my business is on QBO right now, and I'm trying to get them over to Zero. But that's his system. That's the thing. And I don't blame him, because that's kind of how he has his practice.
Sure.
If you're not on Zero, it's not, the onboarding function is probably too much for him. But that being said, Jose, don't be turning down clients on QBO. Hello.
Now it's interesting. So QBO is online. Is that what the O is?
Yeah, it's QuickBooks Online. It's universally hated. It's just
okay. Because I thought I remember JJ saying something about how if you're doing QuickBooks, you have to do desktop because the online is just bad.
It's too automated. There's too many applications that plug into it. And the problem is they make it seem so easy that any business owner and consumer feels like that they can do it. And then there's a dashboard, and you got to match transactions, and you can do bank rules, and you can make a lot of it automated. But if you're not reviewing the information, if you're not coding it properly, you have to look at it. Mistakes happen, and mistakes in QBO happen a lot. They download more activity than they should. I've seen things download a couple of times in a row by accident. Sometimes there's little features within QBO that you can't fix because it's like an automatic. It's slow. It's not user-friendly. I hate it. I was working on it this morning. Honestly, I probably waste 15 minutes every time I go into QuickBooks Online. Easily. Just like hating the program. Zero is piece of cake. And not even that. The best part about Zero, and again, I'm not no brand ambassador for them. I barely even use them. I've only been using them for a little while. It's just, I know all the accounting firms that are successful in this global cloud accounting all use Zero. And there's a company here on Long Island that has literally built a bookkeeping practice based around Zero and 100% Zero. That's all they do, and they're huge ambassadors and all their clients, and they just crush out returns. I actually interviewed at that place once and didn't get the job. But best part about Zero is that they have this community of people throughout the world, mostly the country, but throughout the world that use the program, have been using the program, are new to the program, and they have these sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly. I'm part of the Houston chapter because that's the one Jose teaches, and obviously I want to be in his group, even though I'm here in New York, but who cares? It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. There's like 12, 13, 14 business owners throughout the country chatting about what they're working on, how they're having trouble within third-party applications, Is Gusto still the best? Is Teamwork still the best? What's going on? Have you heard anything new and exciting? It's just QuickBooks doesn't have that. Like, and talking on the chat, I don't need to call customer service. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have Jose, but then I got Dan, I got Jackie, I got anyone on this. Like, I can go on a call once a month in Houston and know for certainty, at minimum, once a month, any kind of technical things I'm having will be addressed. I mean, sometimes you have a ticket in with QuickBooks, you never know when you're going to get, and not even that, it doesn't work all the time. I know a lot of people have built their practices within QBO, so it's going to be a little bit hard to change. And I think a couple of things are overrated with that: chart of accounts, vendor list, customer list. A lot of people freak out about having that. I think it's a little overrated just because it never hurts to kind of go through that stuff, not only weed it out, but update contact information and phone numbers and websites. So depending on how many you have, I mean, if you have a ton, of course, then maybe that's a different story, but hopefully you have the bandwidth to do it. But I think it's a good thing if you go from one accounting program to another. Let's say QuickBooks Online to Xero. Who cares about downloading all that stuff? Just start fresh. Most of the time it's okay. And I know I was having this conversation with people on the last call. What about historical data and all this stuff? I'm like, well, first of all, it's a mess. I can't rely on it anyway. So who gives a crap? I don't give a crap about historical data. If it's a mess, it's garbage. I'm going forward. Not even that, it's archived. I can go grab it. I mean, I can go build a spreadsheet. I mean, who cares? But if this business has been around I can guarantee you they haven't gone through that chart of accounts in a long time. And I guarantee you there's duplicates in there and stuff. And I guarantee you there's vendors and customers in there that need to be cleaned up. So what are you going to do? Just put garbage back in? You're going to take garbage out and put it back in? So for me, it should be easier said than done. I mean, it's easier done than said, actually, is the right way to say it. But I'm just thinking about Eddie. He's like, oh, I love QBO. My clients are on there. I'm like, yeah, it's not as hard to switch as you think, at least from my perspective.
I'll keep that in mind if my big project comes together that we were talking about before the show.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. We have a few things to probably talk technically speaking and business wise. I think you and I are probably, I know, so I mean, I certainly have been thinking about certain things that we can work on together, but I think it's going to be probably even more exciting as you kind of develop this. I got some things to talk to you about offline.
Yeah.
Secrets. Can't give it all away on recording, but
no kidding.
You know, and just to give you guys another little insight, a little real, like what?
Please.
Well, you know this, like Russ, and this is just a little kudo to you. Look at Russ McDonald, all right. And Omar is a great example too. And I don't know how you found us. I don't know how it happened. I think you found JJ, and maybe you found like maybe one. I think you told me a little bit. I mean, I guess the point is that you saw something, it interested you. You didn't care about likes or followers or this, that, and the other thing, and you consumed it, and then you engaged in it. And this is documented. I thought you were a robot. I didn't know you were a real person. Right? I think if you look back in our LinkedIn DMs,
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. I didn't know. I'm like, and then I talked to Jake. It's like, is Russ McDonald a real person? Because you don't know. Like even Shalone on LinkedIn, she likes all of our stuff. I mean, and she's commented too. And you just don't know who's a real person or not. And this was in the early stage, and I just thought everyone was a robot. And I thought you were a robot. But point being is this: it's all there. You can go look to see when he first commented on it, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. And now here we are. He was the first, right? You were the first guest on JX4 for this season? Or was it Jeremy? I don't remember. Maybe you were
I was the first one.
Yeah, you are, right? And here you are. You have your own. Things are happening for you. Your name is going to be getting out there. And it works. I just had a phone call this morning from somebody else from high school who needs help with their taxes. And it's going to be a client, and it's going to be profitable. It's going to be a decent, small little project. Facebook. I don't even do anything on Facebook. I just feed my stories from Instagram over to Facebook, and people see it. It's not that hard, guys. It's just you're freaking out because you don't want to use the software. Go look at Russ.
That's exactly what it is. And I probably am getting more traction still on Facebook than Instagram, but I've been using it for 10 years. So it's different. And
more people are on Facebook probably too.
And since I'm since I'm being more deliberate about posting the content now, I'm having a lot more of my friends that I've known for 40 years reaching out to me to do things and get help. And no, it's fantastic. And there's so much out there and so much opportunity. It's just,
it's my, I could be working so much harder than I am. I mean, I really could be. I mean, if I really,
I just lost you. I can't hear you now. Did you unplug the mic? The devil's in the details. Can't hear you.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, on my phone. So it looks like I just broke my looks like I just broke my my cord here. So.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, we're gonna do it. I mean, I gotta wrap up anyway. But yeah, I just broke that.
Cool. Well, hey, I really appreciate your time today. I've got more I want to talk to you about, but we can do it down the road.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk. I know you got a lot going on. So I mean, it might make sense to just let that kind of come to something, and then we'll talk. Or you tell me. I mean, I got all the time in the world. So.
Yeah. No, I'll let you know. I'm going to reach out to them today and see if I can get a better feel for where we're sitting on things. And yeah, I'll get back to you. So, any final words that you have that you want to close out with on this?
I mean, listen, at this point, no. Except for the fact that come join us, like join the conversation, join the party. Like there's Josh Gallagher and Benoit. I mean, there's a lot of people that are networking together, and this is the new mixer. This is our networking group, and you've never had a better one-to-one than here. I mean, that's what everyone calls one-to-ones. David Meltzer, Juan Garcia is a mentor, right? He is. That's why I found him out was say no to coffee. It's not productive. It's not a good use of time. And I think you guys need to start taking more advantage of not only my free content, which is, I mean, anyway, you should be scrolling through my stuff and watching anything that, like, I mean, you probably spend hours going through a hole on some of my things, and not to toot my own horn. It's really good. I mean, it's freaking good stuff.
It's fantastic.
Thank you. I just appreciate it. And I'm trying to embrace I don't want to sound, conceited or anything, but I'm trying to embrace it because that's kind of part of my insecurities, believe it or not. Anyway, before I go down that road, I'm not as scary as I look, number one. So, I'm probably softer than you think. I'm just a little nutty. And when you see me out in person, I'll probably be a lot more socially awkward and quiet. Unless it's my boys, like Russ and JJ and Juan. I mean, we're hanging out. But if you're just some person I never met before, don't be surprised if I'm a little socially awkward. I'm working on that. CPA JMac, guys, just form a corp. I mean, just form the corp. Just form it. Just form it. Watch my YouTube video. I have a class on this coming out soon that you can purchase. Just do it, and then take it from there. And stop putting all these long-term goals on yourself. Just put one short-term. Do it. It's never. You're just gonna think about it, and it's gonna destroy you, and it's gonna eat you up. So and you need help with taxes, accounting, specifically bookkeeping, small business owners. If you don't have one or you need someone, particularly a referral through Russ, absolutely free consultation for anyone. Talk to you for an hour, up to an hour if you needed one. Be happy to do it. And that's it, Russ. I mean, this is always awesome. I mean, you and I can probably talk forever, especially because you just listened to me, and you just let me talk. I mean, would you say, right?
You got a lot to say, so that's fantastic.
Well, I do got a lot to say, and I got a lot more to say, man. I got a lot more to say. I mean, I'm thinking about different things I want to talk about. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and I see people talking about it, and those that I mentioned are the reason why I'm talking about it. And I hope that I can just be part of that conversation long term and short term, that people see J-Mac and say, okay, he's my inspiration, and then just continue that down the line. And since I've been told so much how I've done a good job at that, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. You've seen nothing yet. So there's just so much more to do, and all of us collectively, separately, come join the party, guys. Come hang out. It's profitable.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask what advice you have for people wanting to get started in your field, and I think that's perfect. Just set up the framework, form the corporation. Yeah. You're going to make the jump at some point, guys. So be ready when the opportunity presents itself. Just get it up and running.
Get it up and running. Bank account. Form the corp, get the EIN, do the S elections for flow through, non-passive, non-taxable at the federal FICA level for self-employment tax. Just be smart about that. S corps, okay, are just as good as LLCs. Don't be fooled. LLCs, limited liability. Oh, it's S corps, same protection. Okay, better strategically tax-wise. So that's one piece of advice. Whether you're a service provider or other budding or aspiring entrepreneur or small business owner or accountant, you know who I'm talking about, ladies. They're all ladies, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't want to name you guys because, I don't want to name you guys, but you know what I'm talking about. Just form the corp. Form. It doesn't have to be I know you guys aren't all CPAs, so form the corp. Open up the bank account. Put $125 in there, and that's it. Take it from there.
Cool.
And then you're done with step 1, and then call me for step 2.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for your time. Reach out anytime you need anything, and we'll be talking again soon.
We very will, and I look forward to seeing. This published. So I appreciate it as always, especially the flexibility. And your patience as we got this going. So thank you, Russ.
Thanks, Justin. Take it easy.
All right.